that one of the exceptions this past year has been Barbie and Oppenheimer because they both
Barbenheimer.
Yeah, the Barbenheimer thing. I don't know if you saw either.
Well, I had to see Barbie.
I'm sure you saw Barbie,
but I didn't see Oppenheimer.
Okay. Well, actually, there's a series that Variety does called Actors on Actors, where it's two actors interviewing each other, and their new season starts with Cillian Murphy and Margot Robbie interviewing each other.
Oh my god!
So it's going to be a Barbenheimer. I
gotta watch that.
Yeah, it's going to be. I think it's going to be incredible. But what was great about it though is because you had these two movies that were so opposite of each other.
Yes.
And yet the idea that they just kind of fused.
Yes.
In this kind of this social media viral like campaign that I don't think either studio realized was going to happen. And then it just took off because they were so opposite.
I was going to say either that or somebody was really smart and was like, hey, what if we just put these together? And who knows? But it did work. I shared all of the Barbenheimer memes.
Yep.
But I have to say, I took issue. In the Barbie movie, they say that Barbie is not a bimbo. Mm-hmm. And on behalf of the bimbo community, but I was just so shocked because I was thinking to myself about, the millions and millions of dollars that they've made with all these brand collaborations. Like you saw all the makeup brands were doing Barbie makeup and all the shoe brands were doing a Barbie shoe and a Barbie, whatever clothing collection. And I'm like, who do you think is buying all of this? Who do you think is spending hundreds and thousands of dollars on your Barbie collabs?
Yeah.
The bimbos.
Yeah.
So maybe don't, ostracize us in a film that we all told our friends to go see.
Yeah.
We're the ones who've been sharing the post. We're the ones who've been preaching about it. Come on, throw us a bone here.
You get it that there's different Barbies that have different identities and can do different things.
Yeah, but the fact that they're like, Barbie is not a bimbo, I was like...
Well, do you know that's why? So that's the original Aqua song, Barbie Girl. I guess Mattel tried to do a cease and desist against the song because they thought that the song was trying to portray Barbie as too much of a bimbo in that sense, where it was I think the song was obviously just being fun and playful.
Right. It's sexy, but it's fun.
So and I think it's funny how they actually did a cover of the song in the movie.
A little bit, yeah, but they said they were like, Aqua's version will not be in the movie. I was like, okay.
Come on. And that's,
But I mean, I've also heard that the original Barbie is designed off of an old German comic strip that was of a prostitute or it was a racy comic that the Barbie design was based off. So I'm like, I don't know. Either way, I was like, you could have just left that line out. You could have just left it out.
Oh, so they actually say it in the movie.
They say it. They say Barbie is not a bimbo. I was
she can be whatever she wants.
Exactly. But, but I'm just saying, don't insult the people who are buying all of your stuff.
Yeah.
Well, and promoting your film.
I remember I saw that because I don't know. I don't think they knew that it was going to be as successful as it was, that it turned into this phenomenon that it did. And I think it's because, why do you think it was such a popular film?
Well, it blew. Even with all the hype, it somehow managed to blow my expectations out of the water, which I didn't expect to happen. I thought I was going to go in and be bummed out because it wasn't going to live up to the hype. Mm-hmm. And what I took away from it, or the feeling that I had when I was leaving the theater, is it made me remember back when I was a little kid in the 90s and the Spice Girls were the biggest thing, biggest thing in my life. I cite the Spice Girls all the time. And the reason why I look the way that I do, even stuff down to my skincare, and the way I feel about myself. Because they... You have
a Baby Spice Emma Bunton thing.
I always wanted to. And you know what? Because I had curly hair. When we would play Spice Girls in elementary school, they always made me be Scary Spice. Oh, and I always wanted to be Baby. So I was like, I'll be Baby as an adult. But they were so influential, and it was all of this girl power messaging, and you are important and you're valuable and you can do whatever you want. Mm-hmm. And when they broke up, nothing ever filled that gap. There wasn't anything like that again.
Yeah.
And you can see the difference between people from my generation who were raised on the Spice Girls and how they feel about themselves, and the people who never had the Spice Girls,
yeah.
or the women who didn't have the Spice Girls in their lives. And so I felt like it like hurt a generation of women to not have that messaging going out in their pop culture. So I came out of Barbie and I was like, this is it. They finally given us something to replace the Spice Girls.
Yeah.
This is what little girls are going to see, and they're going to grow up having a different sense of self-worth because they have somebody telling them you're important. And even little boys, because there's messaging for little boys. You don't have to be in a relationship to be valid. You don't have to have any outside thing, tell you how to be, or like to make you valid or make you a man.
Yeah.
You are worthwhile on your own, but you have to figure yourself out on your own. And so I think that this is going to be useful for a whole new generation of boys and girls.
So, and I know that you are a big fan of the himbo.
I love the himbos.
So where would you rank Ryan Gosling's Ken? Is he like a Hall of Fame himbo?
Yes.
He is?
I mean,
Okay.
10 out. He was every scene that he was in, he was my favorite part of the scene.
I think that's a lot of people.
He stole the show 100%. And if you watch like his interviews for the movies, he's in himbo mode the whole time.
Yeah.
And he's, talking about like, I can't get out of Ken mode. I'm stuck this way. And of course, like my pervy bimbo heart is like, yes, you're stuck in himbo mode. That's so hot, like be a himbo for the rest of your life. Yes. Come over to our side. You understand how good it is to not think and just be hot,
Yeah.
So I, in my fantasies, I want to imagine that that's true, but I know he's probably playing it up for interviews.
Well, yeah. Well, but what's interesting is because, and I said this when I first started to see promos for it, like even just the images where he's like where they do the mug shots, and she's looking sad, and he's like. Yeah, he's like super excited about it.
Yeah.
And I just thought to myself, here's a guy, because he's a lot of his career, he's played very either unemotional characters or very dour, serious characters, whether it was in movies like Drive or
Blade Runner.
Blade Runner, Only God Forgives, The Place Beyond the Pines. Like he played First Man, where he played Neil Armstrong. He played, it was, again, very, very serious. And I'm like, this seems like a role where it was like, be as happy and animated and that. And it seemed like he was having a blast.
That's what I was going to say. He seemed like he was having the best time that whole movie, the whole shoot, all the interviews. He just seemed like he was living his best life. And that's, what being a part of bimbofication and himbofication and thembofication is about.